Hey, what is up, everybody? My name is Rahul, and welcome to yet another episode of the Bug Bounty series where you and I learn about a new vulnerability each week. So, in this episode, we'll be discussing about a new concept but with a different approach. In this episode, first I'll be talking about the vulnerabilities example, then we'll be talking about its definition, and then followed by a real life case study with the help of HackerOne report. So consider this. Consider an example of an internal network and a publicly accessible network. Now, as you can generally guess, that a public server will not have access to each and everything in itself, because if this gets hacked, the company is gone. The company is gone for good. The company is gone forever. It will be vanished. So what happens is, what companies generally do is they make a server publicly accessible and they keep all the stuff that is critical behind a firewall. Now this stuff is not publicly accessible. As you can see, it has a private IP address. So this is a private network and this is the public network. You can access everything that is on this server and here with the help of this server. So what happens is, for example, you want to access your profile and your profile is on this server and your picture is on this server. So what will happen is, when you log in, this server will make a request to this server and this server simultaneously, and then it will fetch the details and give it to you back. So this is the general specifics, and our goal here is to reach the backend server, to reach the private network. So how do we do this? So we do this with the help of a vulnerability called the server-side request forgery. So now let's discuss about its definition. So the server-side request forgery is a web application security vulnerability that allows an attacker to make HTTP requests to an arbitrary domain from the web server. Now, generally the attacker causes the server to make a connection to the internal services of the organization, because you can make this server access any other server. So why not make it access the internal server, because then you'll have access to the internal networks. So let us discuss that. Why does this happen? It happens when an online application requires outside resources, and as you can see, this server is online and it requires access to the resources that are inside a private network for various reasons, of course. So it's example time, guys. Let us discuss it with the help of an example. Now consider Bob. Bob is our dearest friend. Now what Bob does is, Bob goes to a website and he sees that there is a stock API parameter that is accepting a website, that is accepting a web URL. Now he looks at the URL and he clicks on the send button. As you can see, he gets 114 on the outside. So he, as a response, sorry. Now what happens is, one of Bob's friend tells him that, if you change the stock API to localhost admin, you'll get access to the internal servers or the admin part of the server. So what Bob does is, our dearest friend Bob, he changes the parameter and changes to localhost admin, and as you can see, he gets a 200 OK status code, which means he has access to the internal server. Now if you get this vulnerability and if you are told to report it, what will be the impact? How can you tell the administrator, or how can you tell the staff that what its impact can be? So the impact of a server-side request forgery can be to reach or access the internal network, scan the internal network, cause DOS attack on the internal network, find internal services and run an internal port scan. And I'll be explaining you point 2 and point last with the help of another example, which is right over here. So as you can see, our dearest friend Bob tried to change this to localhost admin, but one of Bob's friend tells him that there is a whole new entire network being put into place and he can also have access to it. So what our dearest friend Bob does is, he changes it to 192.168.0.0 and then tries to access it. As you can see, he gets nothing. So from point 1, point 2, point 3, he reaches to point 12 and then he gets a 200. But now Bob is not fine with it. Bob wants to access the internal network. Bob wants to have a port scan, or Bob wants to perform a port scan. So how will he do it? He can use a colon followed by the port numbers. So as you can see, when he types in 8080/admin, he gets a 500 internal server error, which tells him that okay, this port is not active. So what he can do is he can type in 8081, and in this way he can keep on looping in so that he gets somewhere. So now it's enough. Let's study about the real world reports. So this is an example from a report that I have taken from HackerOne, and as you can see from this example that here, with the help of post request, server side request forgery was performed, but here it can be performed with the help of a get request. So as you can see, if the user typed in the URL of any website in the URL parameter, he can have access to it. So this is a way of pointing your server to someone else's server. He could also scan the internal network with the help of this same approach. This second example is from the US Department of Defense. So if a particular person went to this IP address or this URL, which is not shown just for privacy sake, and he changed this parameter to any internal, either the internal host or an external host, he could have access to it, or he could have made a request to it. So this is the basics of server side request forgery, guys. I hope you learned something out of it. If you did learn something out of it, please make sure you click on the like and subscribe button. That would mean a lot to me. Thank you.